In the middle of a stormy weather, a massive Boeing 747 accelerated down the runway 05 right. Unknown to the crew, some heavy construction equipments were parked between taxiways N4 and N5. The plane crashed back onto the runway where heavy construction equipment were placed, breaking up and bursting into flames while sliding down.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. May I have attention please. All passengers traveling by Singapore Airlines flight S2006, Singapore to Los Angeles with stop over day 1 are requested to get your baggage checked and proceed towards the check-in counter. Thank you.
Singapore Airlines Flight 006 was on its scheduled passenger flight to Los Angeles, United States with a stopover in Taipei, Taiwan. In the command of the flight was Captain Fong Chi Kong, aged 41, with an experience of 11,235 flight hours, of which 2,017 hours were spent on Boeing 747-400. The first officer, named Latif Khairano, aged 36, with an experience of 2,442 flight hours, including 552 hours on Boeing 747-400. The third member of the crew was relief pilot named Ng Keng Leng, aged 38, with approximately 5,508 total flight hours, including 4,518 hours on the Boeing 747-400. The aircraft was a Boeing 747-412, registered as 9V-SPK. The aircraft had been delivered to Singapore Airlines on 21 January 1997. The last maintenance check was done on 16 September 2000 and found no defects during the inspection. The aircraft took off from Changi Airport and landed at Chiang Kai-shek International Airport, Taiwan on the same day.
May I have your attention please. This is the last and final departure call from passengers traveling by Singapore Airlines Flight 006 to Los Angeles who are requested to board the flight through gate number 5.
Taiwan was affected by northeast monsoon flow and typhoon named Changchun, centered about 360 kilometers south of the Chiang Kai-shek Airport. Just before takeoff, the weather forecast were as follows. Wind 20 degree at 36 knots, gusting 56 knots. Visibility 600 meters. RVR for runway 05 was 450 meters with heavy rain, broken clouds at 200 feet and overcast at 500 feet with the temperature of 21 degree, dew point 20 degrees Celsius, altimeter setting 1001 hectopascal. Civil Aeronautics Administration of Taiwan had issued a NOTAM on August 31, 2000, indicating that the path of runway 05 right between taxiway N4 and N5 was closed for construction purpose, and that was between September 13 to November 22, 2000. Runway 05 right has been converted and redesignated as taxiway NC, and with its effectivity on November 1, 2000. Flight 006 was at Bay B5. Pilots reported for duty at 9:53 and completed pre-flight departure duties, including receiving dispatch documents, and boarded the aircraft. The dispatch documents, including the NOTAM pertaining to partial closure of runway 05 right, were also reviewed by the pilots. After pushback, the crew requested and received clearance from the controller to commence taxiing. After the controller issued the taxi clearance, the captain repeated the taxi clearance, and for the next few seconds, the flight crew discussed the route to runway 05 left. Shortly after, the flight crew engaged in conversation about the designated alternate airport because both Kaohsiung and Hong Kong had closed. The aircraft then turned onto taxiway NP. The flight crew was instructed to change to tower frequency. The co-pilot acknowledged the transmission. The plane was proceeding along taxiway NP. The captain instructed co-pilot to inform the ATC that the aircraft is ready to take off. Shortly thereafter, the controller gave clearance to take off with the current weather data. At this time, the aircraft was approaching the southwestern end of taxiway NP. As the flight was close to the runway, the crew completed the before takeoff checklist. The aircraft turned right on taxiway NP onto taxiway N1 and made a continuous right turn onto runway 05 right and lined up for takeoff. The captain applied full thrust to the engines for takeoff. The aircraft collided with several concrete barriers, 2 excavators, 2 vibrating rollers, a bulldozer, an air compressor cart, and a pile of metal reinforcement bars on runway 05 right, between taxiways N4 and N5. The ground speed was about 131 knots, which resulted and killed 83 of 179 people on board. The tower controller saw the aircraft bursting into flames and instantly signaled the emergency bell to the fire station. The airport rescue and firefighting personnel arrived at the accident site in approximately 3 minutes and began firefighting and rescue efforts. The majority of CKS airport medical and rescue operations were not able to function in accordance with CKS airport procedures because of strong wind and heavy rain emanating from approaching Typhoon Shangchen. The investigation was conducted by the Aviation Safety Council of Republic of China. The final report was issued on 24 April 2002. According to the investigators, the flight crew did not review the taxi route despite having all the relevant charts. This irresponsibility led the aircraft to enter the wrong runway. Upon entering the wrong runway, the flight crew had also neglected to check the paravisual display and the primary flight display, which could have indicated that the plane was lined up on the wrong runway. In addition, the report stated that these errors, coupled with imminent arrival of the typhoon and the poor weather conditions, caused the flight crew to lose situational awareness and led them to attempt takeoff to the wrong runway. Although runway 05 right was closed, its ends were being used as taxiways. The closed runway had green centerline lights that designated it as a taxiway. However, investigators stated that there was lack of adequate warnings in the runway entrance that would have provided a potential loss defense to the crew mistaking the strip as an active runway. This is all for today. Click here to subscribe our channel so that you won't miss our new video. Give a thumbs up if you are watching until now. I will see you in the next video. This is Sunil saying thank you for watching.